Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been one hell of a week, but we made it through. Here we are. It's actually Friday evening, and I finally have a chance to sit down and do this recap of Life After Lockup with Gypsy Rose, episode 8. So let's get into it. So the episode starts with Gypsy and Christy in the car. Christy's bringing Gypsy home, home sweet home with Rod and Christy. And Gypsy puts on her crocodile tears, her fake tears, talking about Ryan. She's, like I need a compilation of Gypsy crying because she just cries on the spot. I don't know how she does it, but I never see a tear. It's just really weird. Anyway, they're talking in the car, and Gypsy says she she loves Ryan for sticking by her side through everything, and she didn't marry Ryan just because she was in prison. I don't believe that. But anyway, that's what Gypsy says. She says that she married him because she thought that they could have something. Okay. Anyway, Rod welcomes her home and says, make yourself at home. And then he has a little spiel where he's like comparing his marriage to Dee Dee to what Gypsy did with Ryan, saying somehow you just marry the wrong person, you're not fully in love. And he feels that it takes a lot of courage to leave a marriage you're not happy in to be with the person that you truly love. And yeah and no. I mean, I think what it all comes down to is just making better decisions and not being so fast in a relationship. But I guess people have different views and morals, so we'll leave that there. In this episode, we get to see more of what happened behind the scenes between Gypsy and Ryan. And one of the things Gypsy says is that things were going good until the day that it wasn't going good. And what day was that when you heard that Ken was single and ready to mingle again? And then there's just all this back and forth between Gypsy and Ryan, and Gypsy giving Ryan this false hope, texting him that she loves him and misses him, all while she's hanging out with Ken, making these big plans. Gypsy is like one of those people that says things just to sound like she cares. She says something like she wanted to be the person, she wanted to be there for Ryan and to hold him, but she's just not the right person at this time. Things like that. And that just drives me nuts when people say things like that. I'm just not the right person at this time. You're married to the man. Like, what do you mean? So one minute Gypsy's texting Ryan, "Oh, I miss you and I love you," and then the next she's sending him pictures. She sent him the picture of Gypsy and Ken before it was released to the public, and Ryan just responded with evil, which I agree. Like, you're married to the man and you're sending him pictures of you and Ken together, but saying, "Oh, don't worry, we're just friends." And then you guys are getting matching tattoos, but "Oh, don't worry, we're just friends." And then in that same conversation with Ryan during that time, she says she understands why Ryan would be cussing at her and could hate her because she has broken every vow in their marriage. And then she says this to Ryan, and I quote, "Ryan, it's too late. I've sent down a path I can't change even if I wanted to." So basically, she's saying there's no going back now. There's no hope here. There's no going back now. She can't go back to Ryan, but while he's on the other end begging to try to work things out because she gave him false hope. That's what it comes down to.
So you're gonna try to get me on adultery? I don't know, Gypsy. I don't know anything right now.
Through all of this, Ryan breaks down, rightfully so. Hearing about the tattoos really made him break down. That really got to him, which imagine your wife is out here getting matching tattoos with another man of a dog that they always wanted to have together. And Ryan asks, he says, "Did I even mean anything?" That really broke my heart. And even knowing and seeing all of Ryan's red flags throughout these episodes, you still can't say that he deserves any of this. He never deserved any of this. What she put him through was torture. And Gypsy's still out here saying, like, oh, the heart wants what it wants. Then at the end of one of their phone conversations, Gypsy lays it out straight. She says, I'm going to want a divorce. And in 6 to 9 months, I'm going to be with Ken. She didn't wait no 6 to 9 months. She was already with Ken. And right after that phone call, well, before she hangs up the phone call, she says, I'll text you later, Ryan. And then she picks up the phone and she didn't even put down the phone. She just kept the phone in her hand and she calls Ken. And they start talking about Ryan and the conversation that she just had with Ryan, her husband. And Gypsy's like, yeah, he wants to see me. And Ken's like, no.
I talked to Ryan. I just got off the phone with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
He wants to meet up.
And then Gypsy talks about how she needed this time away from Ryan to see what it felt like to not be married. She needed this time away to see what it felt like to be single. But come on, you're still seeing another man. And then she's like, oh, but seeing Ken and meeting him again solidified my feelings for him. So all of the finding yourself and seeing what it's like to not be married is just bullshit. Gypsy then goes to get her nose job, and Christy mentions hundreds of surgeries. Where are all of these scars that they keep talking about? Hundreds of surgeries. I know of the feeding tube scar. I know of the salivary gland surgery, the eye surgery, which I think were all necessary. And then she had a muscle biopsy. This has already been debunked that she did not have hundreds of surgeries. Maybe she's had a few procedures and blood drawn a few times, but she didn't have hundreds of surgeries. So just stop with that already. I think the best part of this whole episode is when Mia speaks up. And I know in a previous video I said she seems sort of bratty to me, but this kind of let me see a whole other side to her where I see that the girl thinks logically, she's reasonable. You know what I mean? And she stands up to Christy in this scene where they're talking about the whole dynamic of how everything worked out, how Christy just had to let Gypsy know that Ken loved her and he was just trying to do the right thing. And Mia says, you should have stayed out of it. She's like, why couldn't Ken tell her himself?
You played a big role in your thing.
Well, you know, she needed to know the real reason why he ended.
Did she?
Yes, she did.
You
Because
told her and not you.
Mia also, at this time, didn't know if Ken really was telling the truth about why he left Gypsy. She wasn't sure of what to believe. I don't know if that's changed since then. I know this was filmed a few months back, but yeah, so she said she wasn't sure of Ken's true intentions. But the biggest thing is that she called her mom out on being too involved in the whole situation.
I don't regret the thing. You know why? She's my priority. I want her to be happy. I want her to live. Bottom line.
And of course, Christy just brushes it off and she just continues to make excuses, saying, this is all just my opinion. But like Mia says, Ken knew Gypsy was a married woman. Ken knew about Ryan. And what is Ken doing that shows that he's looking out for Gypsy and protecting her? And then we have Ryan's mom, who is also a voice of reason. She's visiting with Ryan, and Ryan's explaining how Gypsy texts him. She texted him at 3 a.m. and was like, how's our baby? I'm up. How's our baby? Talking about Pixie. Why would she continue to do this? It's to keep that door open. And just like Ryan's mom says, she's like, okay, if you're going to leave, leave. But why keep contact? Why keep contacting you? So I'm glad that Ryan has his mom for support. I think he has his brother, and I'm sure he has friends. And he has the support of a lot of followers. I also thought it was interesting how they brought up that whole Gypsy wants like a fairy tale life again. Because Ryan mentions how everything was good when they were in New York and, you know, they were like in this honeymoon phase. But then once that started to fade, Gypsy wasn't happy anymore. And then now that she got with Ken, it's something new, it's exciting. They're in that honeymoon phase. But what's going to happen when all of that fades away? So I find that really interesting. And at one point in this episode, Gypsy does mention that she wants her happily ever after fairy tale with Ken, but she's not planning too far ahead, only like a week or so in advance, because you never know what's gonna happen in life. Then there's a scene with Christy and Rod sitting outside. I think they're waiting for Ken to show up. Gypsy's not out there yet. I don't think, if I remember right. Anyway, they're talking about the situation and Ryan marrying Gypsy, and Christy just twists everything so much. And she does so much so that she makes Rod feel guilty and like things were his fault.
That's it. So you didn't want to come live here because you were 32 years old and you thought you would be a burden. And she said, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That's the reason why she married him. Did she want to love him like he loved her? Of course. But when it's not there, it's not there.
I feel like a failure now.
Christy also blames Ryan for marrying Gypsy and says what Ryan did was selfish. At least Ryan didn't do what Ken did and back out on her, because I think that was even more selfish. But I digress. Christy makes Rod guilty for not stopping the marriage. She says that Gypsy was wanting Rod to stop the marriage.
If you would have said, I'm fully against it, no, that's what she wanted you to say. She was craving that from you.
And Rod said, oh, I didn't look at it that way because I didn't want to be controlling yet again. This always comes back up. He didn't want to be like Dee Dee. So I think that's the truth right there when Christy brings this up, is that Gypsy needed somebody stable to live with. And that was Ryan. It worked out because he lived in Louisiana, not too far from Christy and Rod. He had, a stable life, money, a car, a job, all the things. He just looked so good on paper. So that worked out in her favor. And you can't tell me that that was not the plan, because now Christy just admitted it. I have noted here that it was weird when Ken showed up, because when he shows up, Ken and Christy hug each other and he's like, your hair looks good. And she's like, oh, you smell good. That was just kind of awkward. And then they all sit down and they start talking, and Rod tells Ken, I wasn't happy when you broke Gypsy's heart, and I hope that you won't do it again. He gives like his little father speech. Then he tells Gypsy that he is sorry for not stepping up and stopping the marriage, even though he knew it probably wouldn't work. And then he goes back and he says, Ken, she wants a baby. I know Gypsy wants a baby, but maybe you guys should wait on it and let your relationship, focus on your relationship for a little while and see how that goes. And then in the very next scene, don't we have Gypsy holding up her pregnancy test, all excited?
And it came back positive.
Which it's been clear to us that Gypsy has always wanted to be pregnant, even since those text messages with Nick. She always talks about pregnancy. I don't know what her deal is with that, but I mean, I guess she got what she wanted finally, right? And then at the very end, they have Ryan talking about Gypsy still communicating with him, and that a month or so after they separated, Gypsy was sending him pictures of pregnancy tests, saying, I don't know who the father is. And so that was really confusing for Ryan. So he doesn't really know what to believe. And I'm just finding that really odd. Like, could Gypsy be lying about how far along she is? Sure. There's a whole lot of theories out there. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But the fact that her and Ryan he says that they were secretly planning to have a baby, but yet she was taking plan B when she was talking to Mia. It just doesn't make sense. Like, did she just not want to have Ryan's baby and she was already seeing Ken, or was she waiting for Ken? I don't really know. But anyway, it ends with her being pregnant, which that was announced already publicly. And then just when we think this is the end, it pops up, it says to be continued. So I'm guessing there's going to be another whole series coming out. Don't know what exactly on, but I guess we will see. And in the meantime, as long as Gypsy continues with this circus, I guess we'll just try to keep up with it, and I'll continue to cover her as much as I can. But I am really looking to do videos on different topics here soon, incorporating more of those in. So be looking for those. And if you like my videos, please be sure to subscribe so you can see more from me. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. And as always, share your thoughts and opinions on all of this in the comments below. And I'll be back with another video very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.